up for 40 odd something hours. The sweat on my back's got my shirt soaked and sour. And oh, it's already gone. Second night's coming and I'm spinning back around. We're all caught up, can't hear or feel the sound. And oh, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, this life's too short to be worrying about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. Got time but money's not something that's free. Seems the roll of the dice never rolls back to me. You know, it's already gone. A bird in my hand, two cans in the other, start spinning around. Now here comes another, and oh, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, this life's too short to be worried about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. And all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, this life's too short to be worried about you hurting for long. Whoa, it's already gone. Already gone. It's already gone. Go.
What is up, Jags fans? We are here on another night, Tuesday night, our regularly scheduled program on a Tuesday night. I'm glad you guys are here. We have some defensive coordinator interviews to talk about. They've interviewed Patrick Graham, probably the favorite in the front running, if I had to guess, Duron Jones from the Vikings, Jonathan Cooley from the Panthers, Anthony Capanelli from the Packers, and Aubrey Pleasant from the Rams. So we have quite the show for you tonight. Now, I'm going to admit, I didn't do a full-blown film breakdown of all these coaches. That would be, frankly, a waste of time, okay? But I did grab a couple clips from each coach and their teams to kind of see what maybe they will run. And that's the problem is, like, if you're a DB's coach, are you going to come in here and run that defense? But I don't think these DB coaches, passing game coordinators, linebackers coaches are really getting a solid look at the DC job. I think they're more interviews to kind of bring in for promotions under Patrick Graham. But we'll just say that. So here we are. We are here. ready to talk. This is a fan show. It's your first time here. Make sure to get into the comments. We call it a fan show because we've had a lot of new viewers here lately. We call it a fan show because I thought for years there was a missing outlet for Jags fans to talk. Like there's all types of things for Jags fans to listen to, but there's not a lot of areas for Jags fans to like get their voice heard. So that was kind of the point of Jags United. That's why it's called Jags United. And I think that's why we've had a little bit of success. I know people here for the film breakdowns usually, but come on, let's be a little more than that. So get into the comments. Tell me what you think about, you can tell me anything about the Jags, Liam Cohen, the future of the team. You can talk about draft picks, although I'm not going to get too deep into that quite yet, but maybe the defensive coordinator. I think that's kind of where I want to stay tonight. What do you want to see from the defense? What do you want to see from the current roster we have? Do we want to add people through free agency, through the draft? Do you want to see a scheme change? Because I hate to break it to you guys, but when I was looking through all these defensive coaches, like they all run an odd man front, and odd man front just means 3D linemen, 4 linebackers, kind of the way that Caldwell ran it 2 years ago. So what do you guys think about that? Because that's just going to be something to think about. There's like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We do typically do shows Tuesdays and Fridays. I typically do a show on Wednesday night on UCF Jaguars channel called Club Jaguar. So you can catch me those nights, typically religiously. But lately, we've been a full-timer. Boys. And that's okay. Because people are watching and commenting. So follow everything in the video description. If you click on more info, you can see some things that are in there. There's some fun stuff in there. Some side things I do on the side. If you ever wonder, like, man, I wonder what Jags United does with his free time. You can go on there and you can check some stuff out. But enough of that. Let's get to the comments here. The first one in the chat, and we always shout out the first one in the chat, and my phone is, I apologize. My phone is going crazy right now. Robert Atzer says, yo, what up, Robert? Callie Jag says, yep. I love it. Robert Atzer says, I'm a busy bee. Yes, I am. Robbie's, okay. We just brought a baby into the world, boys and girls. Been a long day and night. Okay, I don't care if you guys are new here and you're here to consume Jags content. I don't care. We're not getting outside of who we are as a channel. And who we are as a channel is we celebrate these types of things. Robbie, congratulations on bringing a new baby into the world. Listen, I will preach this until my eyes turn bloodshot. We need more good fathers in this world. I work with young people. We need more good fathers in the world. So we always take a second to shout out new fathers, to shout out fathers that are in here, because get in your kid's life, be involved. I love it. I know Robbie will be. So shout out to Robbie. Congratulations, man. I'm so pumped for you and your family. What a great, I know it's a long day, a long night, but I know you know that it's worth it. So congratulations. I love to see it. Great job, Robbie. Great job. Idle hands. Maybe. Hell yeah. Congrats. I love it. First baby. Oh, dude, that's awesome. He says, thanks. Old Cohen's Duval. I might start saying it like that. You know, I don't care. Duval. What if we change it? Why don't we change it? Happy Tuesday, all. Cohen getting so much hate in the national media. Who cares, bro? Winning cures everything. Dude might be full-time. So proud. Thank you, Aiden. I am full-time. And again, I did a little bit of work. I got some clips loaded up for you. So stick around if you're in that type of thing. I kind of previewed it a bit with my little pre-stage there. Volk Fang channel member. Someone said Cohen looks like Gene Wilder. Now I can't unsee it. Okay. I see it a bit. BT Chummer says so many shows. I love it. That's it. Ace Sharpshooter says Duval in Liam Cohen voice. Cohen is a Jag now. He'll be hated until the AFC Championship. I love it. Cash Shoots says, I really want someone with experience, and Patrick Graham is the only one we've interviewed so far, but I like him. He looks like the front runner. Patrick Graham looks like the front runner, and that seems like a good place to start with Patrick Graham. Obviously, he's the Vegas defensive coordinator, or was formerly, probably will not be retained. Before that, he was the Giants defensive coordinator, but that was more of like a Bill Belichick, Joe Judge connection type thing. But that does lead to him being a Bill Belichick disciple. I think a really underrated thing about Patrick Graham is he's a Yale guy. Really smart if you go to Yale, obviously. The Raiders went from 31st to 12th in defense. And I've said this on a show before, but not only do they make the huge jump in that defense from last in the league to better than halfway, 12th, the Raiders also spent the second least amount of money on their defensive players. And that's including Chandler Jones, who was on the books, who didn't play. So made the most with what he had. He's the only guy on the interviewed list who runs a base 4-3, who doesn't run, basically who runs the defense that we ran last year with Josh Allen and Trevon Walker as those DNs, those true DNs. He did play a little 3-man front with Crosby, so he's adaptable. Obviously played with Crosby, so that bodes well for, I think, more Trevon Walker, in my opinion. He was also the D coordinator for the Bengals, and he's really respected in the locker room. I think he does need to work a little bit on takeaways, but I think some people would argue takeaways are luck. But he did hold 7 of the 17 teams on his NFL schedule to under 22 points, which I think is very impressive, if you ask me. So let's just pull up again. I don't have a lot clipped because I have a feeling that Patrick Graham is going to be the next coach of the, or next D coordinator of the Jags. So I didn't want to just like spoil our whole Patrick Graham film breakdown, but I will get into a little bit of what he does and what he looks like. And one thing that stood out for me, and I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't watch a ton of plays. I probably watched 50 plays. Okay. So I didn't watch the whole season, which I will do once he becomes named the D coordinator. But one thing I didn't notice in those 50 plays that I watched, and I tried to watch them toward the back half of the season, he runs a lot of bear front. And what a bear front is that's 3 D linemen basically within the guards to make it easier, right? So he's got a 3 technique. He's got a shade. I hate getting into techniques with like where they're at with like on the shoulder, because different coaches call them different things. So how I do it for these film breakdowns is, instead of getting super deep into the 3-eye, the 4-eye, the wide 9, the shade, all of that, I'm just going to call it backside and front side on the shoulder of the offensive lineman they're playing on. So for example, we'll call this a shade all the time because he's shaded on the center. And that's typically a sign of an odd man front, but this is a bear front with 5 D linemen. So it kind of goes outside of that a little bit. Because they have 2 tight ends here, this will be like the strong side or the front side. And so we call this D tackle on the inside shoulder of the tackle on the strong side. And we'll call this guy the outside shoulder of the guard on the weak side. So again, not getting into all the techniques, but just for the sake of what we're doing here, that's what we're doing. So you see this bear front here. You got the 2 tight ends. You got the pistol set. A lot of teams run out of pistols. This is Bijan Robinson. This is a good back right here. And watch how they attack with this bear front. Again, the only reason why I showed this play was just to show them in the bear front. I'm not going to give away all my plays for the Patrick Graham film breakdown, but I did want to show him in the bear front there. Here you're going to see it again. This is the same game. This is against the Falcons. Here you're going to see this even man front. When we say even, all we're saying is there's 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 D linemen. They have a walk down defensive back here, showing pressure. Falcons are in 10 gun 2x2, and watch how they attack this play here. Little pre-snap motion. I'll take it. Do they blitz the linebacker here? Or they just get pressure from the nose? Oh, the stunt. They got the stunt here. Let's watch this from the end zone. All right, so they're going to pressure up here, stunt around here into the A gap, and he's going to get pressure on Kirk Cousins. So this is a good job. I mean, now I know a lot of Jags fans want a D tackle with that first pick in the first round, which is completely fine. I like Devon Hamilton. I like Mason Graham, but I get the need for wanting a guy there. I mean, he's way out here in the 9 technique. 9 technique just means like if there was an imaginary tight end, he'd be on the outside shoulder, which he is. But again, what you're going to see here is this D tackle is going to consume a double team, and then it's going to allow this stunt to get into the A gap. He's going to consume 2 blocks here, block, and they got the sack here. And what's cool is like, so they walk up this DB and he's actually going to drop into coverage. I didn't even notice this the first time. So because he does this, he shows blitz pre-snap. This tackle is going to have to kick out just in case he blitzes. And because of that, that opens up this A gap right here. Fairly standard play for a defense, but I mean, you're the Raiders and you're making that happen. All right, this is against the Broncos. No dice. No dice. And again, this also looks like another bear front. This is another bear front. Well, not a bear front to start. So when they start, they're in an odd man front right here with Crosby out here as an outside linebacker. But when they get the pre-snap motion, he's going to kick in and make this kind of a true bear front at the snap. So, well, maybe not. Maybe not a bear front. Because he looks like I don't know what this guy is. Linebacker, D end. He's wearing number 5, but he's wearing number 9. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I guess why I don't get into these contextual terms, because they all are interchangeable. Great job. Great job. Let's get to some of your comments here. I really want someone with experience, and Patrick Graham is the only one we've interviewed so far. I like him. I read that one already. Cohen looks like Willy Wonka for sure. Bro, working overtime. I got some time on my hands. And I'm not butting up against like Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. It just, there's nothing else going on. So, I mean, what else y'all gonna do? You have to just listen to me rant. Graham did good with one good pass rusher. Wait, are you trying to tell me that Kalavon Chazon was not a good pass rusher? I don't know if I'm willing to hear that. LO Media have been showing their colors way before this. They don't even know our players half the time, says Jordan Roberts. Good point. Would run through a wall for that Packers dude. My favorite show, says Jags Heart. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's go. Glad I could finally catch a live stream. Great stuff. Noah, what's up, Noah? Noah's a good one. I've known Noah for a long time. Noah crushes it. Noah's absolutely crushing it. I follow Noah on Instagram, my personal Instagram. Crushing it. I love seeing his post. Great. Good to see you, Noah. Reth Kim says, actually made it in time. Well, I'm glad you guys are starting to catch on that we start at 9 p.m. every single night. I'm glad. When are they interviewing Jason Trent for the open? Oh, well, the problem with that is looking through these coaching interview candidates. They've all been working in football and coaching football for like 10 years, whether it was at like Boston or random little schools. I don't think I have quite that pedigree. I think where I would fit best on this team is in a Tony Baselli role. I think that's where I'd fit best. And you know, me and Tony Baselli, we kind of have similar credentials. He's a Hall of Famer, number 1 overall pick, AFC Championship games appearances, and I have a YouTube channel, so we're pretty close in credentials. If I had to guess, Mark Moon says Duval, Carson Shack, channel member and hard worker. Nightly programming at this point. He does nothing in his free time. Trust. The only thing I do in my free time is I tail Carson's parlays that never hit. So that's what I do in my free time. So hopefully those start hitting. John says, hopefully we don't get another Mo Ron for DC. From Twitter, Joel Evanoff. Do you think Liam Cohen's relationship with Luke Fortner will keep him on the roster and pass on the center of the future? I think it'll keep him on the roster. I think it's hard to look at that film from 2023 and make him the center of the future. Now, he was good in college. He was good his rookie year. He regressed under Doug Peterson, as did every single offensive lineman. So I'm not sitting here validating Luke Fortner, but maybe there's a reality. Maybe there's a reality where Luke Fortner isn't as bad as he's been playing the last 2 years. Don't kill me on that. Just a thought experiment. Mike Hunt says, anybody see Trev in the arm sling? Hopefully he takes it seriously so he is healthy for the season. Yeah, I mean, Trevor's going to be ready. We know that about Trevor. He takes it seriously. Duval, says Richard Maruder. Seabreacher says Cohen is growing on me. Well, maybe one day Seabreacher will grow on me. Maybe. Punchline says choosing to watch this over Hacker. Oh, well, I like Hacker. I don't know what else to say about him. I mean, he's an Orlando Magic fan, so I do like, and he talks about the Magic, which I appreciate. But thank you. Appreciate that. CJ DSO, just laughing. Punchline says Cohen looks like Dirk Nowitzki. Come on, guys. I mean, I know what Dirk Nowitzki looks like, but I think that one's closer than Gene Wilder. I'm just going to leave a Liam Cohen picture up because apparently this is... He does gotta. Oh, God, I hate that. He does. Yeah, okay. All right. Stephen Giles says, you are spoiling us with back-to-back shows. I'm having fun. And I wish I could say that the large amounts of views the last week hasn't motivated me a bit, but it has. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm an honest guy. I'll never lie to you guys. It has. So thank you guys for watching and telling your friends and all that stuff. So reason why Cohen isn't getting hate is that he left a big market team for Jacksonville. From Ryan Green's show, literally had that playing for a couple days, got me steaming like Luffy. Hello, beautiful people, says Raiden Shogun, Pokey443 on Twitch. That's a per radio from Tampa, by the way. Okay. Cam Boysvert, channel member. Any chance we keep Kirk and Ingram? People make it seem like we need to dump one. I'd love to keep them and go heavy DB and O-line in the draft. I don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, I'm not in that building. It would make the most sense to me to keep Ingram and cut Kirk. Just financially. You could probably bring in a receiver who gives you way more value than Kirk does for that same amount of money. Or you could bring in two guys that give you pretty good value for that same money. So I don't know where they're going to want to go in the draft. I think that's going to be a big indicator. I don't know how they feel about the free agents that are coming out or a realistic chance they could get some of these free agents because these free agent lists come out around now and people start like this guy. And then like 70% of them end up getting re-signed with their team. So the free agent list you're looking at now will be whittled down to about 30% of where it's at because of teams re-signing players. So it's hard right now to say. I like Kirk. He's having trouble staying healthy. I know Trevor likes Kirk. Just that contract is tough. I mean, he's getting paid a lot of money, and he's worth almost that, but he's got an out this year that makes him very cuttable. So does Ingram, but Ingram gives you a lot more value than Kirk does, I think. 3-4 had us getting a lot of takeaways. Both H.A. and Walker had better production. Lloyd and safeties were blowing too many coverages, and Roy Robertson, Harrison, and Fatu Kasi couldn't fill a gap to save their life. Not sure why we get rid of Ingram. He's a beast when healthy. Patty G coaching the D. Let's go. I hope so. I like Aubrey Pleasant. He's a fantastic secondary coach, and we need tons of work back there. Well, let's get into Aubrey Pleasant a little bit because I think he's the second most likely to get the job after Patrick Graham. Is the assistant head coach and passing game coordinator for the Rams. So you're going to notice that a lot of these guys do have that Rams connection. Chris Shula is the DC for the Rams, young guy, but great to learn under. He was an assistant coach for the Rams, the Lions, the Packers. He has a master's in education, which I know doesn't really matter in football, but I believe that, like, if you're someone that has like a master's degree in education, you're probably pretty good at teaching. And what coaches have to do is they have to teach. So maybe that's more cause for optimism than him not having a master's in education, if you're following me there. And what's cool about him, and this has been reported a couple times, and it was on Wikipedia as well, but for against the Chargers in the preseason game, Sean McVay turned over head coaching responsibilities to Aubrey Pleasant, and they won the game 13-9. And also the Bears interviewed him. So other teams are looking at him. I know the Bears hired someone else already, but he did get the interview. And we can kind of take a look at what the Rams have done, but it is more of like a Chris Shula defense. But that just never stopped us from looking at some film, right? Because we love film around here. All right, this is the Rams against the Eagles. Obviously, they lost this game, but you can kind of see their front. This is a true odd man front. 1, 2, 3 with 2 outside linebackers. Don't know if that necessarily is best for the Jags, but just worth mentioning. I think this is them stopping the run, and I don't even think it's Saquon Barkley, but it is what it is. Oh, no. This is. I think I just clipped this play just to show that they run an odd man front. I'm sorry. I clipped this play just to show they run an odd man front. So there's why I clipped that play. Here's one. Again, same game against the Eagles. You remember the snow kind of picked up in this game. I think this is a good defensive back play because he's the defensive backs coach. I think that's why I clipped it. But I have none of these labeled, so I'm kind of guessing. And I guess wrong. It's a sack. All right, so you're going to see a pretty exotic blitz here. Again, he's the defensive back coach. I mean, by exotic blitz, I mean they blitz a linebacker and they drop this is just straight cover 3. I think he shoots to the flat. They're going to bring him. He's playing middle of the field. I think, I don't know what he does. He either goes to the flat or he goes to the curl hook zone right here. Yeah. Not bad. Not bad. Here's against the Vikings. I mean, look at this front. I mean, this is a 4-tech, a linebacker here, a 9 technique, a 7 technique. I mean, I like that. Some bully ball right there. I really like this. The tight end, and this is the little things that I look at. The tight end here is like he's showing pre-snap he's running a route. Like, look how he has a lot of his weight loaded on his low right here. Like he's got his weight low and he's ready to explode out of the stance. So it kind of keys this defensive back that he's going to be running a route, and you can see that he's ready for it. And he's the DB's coach, so I'm guessing this was a well-coached up play here. He does a good job covering the tight end. He's right on it. No one's open. They get the sack. Good blitz. Great job. Great job. Kevin says, late, but I made it. How's everyone feeling about the new head coach and his Duval? Hey, I'm fine with it. I'm completely fine with it. Yeah, I read that one already. He held the Jags' explosive offense to 14 points. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. Really like the DC from the Raiders beyond Max Crosby. Anyone know a defensive player from top of your head? Clavon Chason. Definitely doing a lot more with less, in my opinion. And the only thing consistent there, and isn't like Divine Diablo is a pretty good player too. I think he's there as well. But outside of those two, you're right. You're right. Late, but why is everyone late? We start at 9 p.m. Are you trying to tell me that you have duties outside of being right on time? Just kidding. Glad you're here. Channel member Long John Silver 85 says, yo. What's up, fellas? Not much. I had a pretty busy day today, but I got to leave work around 4:45. Well, maybe earlier than that. Well, I don't know. I left work like around 3:45, but then I had to come home and work. So I don't know. Thanks for asking. Alpha Chino. Graham did get more out of Chazon than we ever did in 1 year. Always love the breakdown videos. Thank you, Alpha. I appreciate that. This isn't much of a breakdown, I will admit. But once we hire the new DC, there will be a full breakdown video coming very soon. Imagine if Clavon Chazon follows over Patrick Graham, a young player with a lot of potential. Topa says, Jason, I like how Cohen is taking his time evaluating his coaching staff candidates before hiring them. Carson Shack, I hope they hit too. Kind of joined the live to get away from the pain, but thanks for the stray. Hey, man, you're the one that's got to hit the parlays. What? Only if Fortner steals Cam's juice. You mean Michael's secret juice from Space Jam? Hit the like button. Yeah. Great call, Cass. Hit the like button. It's free. It's anonymous. The amount of hate Liam Cohen hate because we are happy with our new head coach. Look up Noise Dude on Google and tell me that's not Liam Cohen. Bro. I can't, dude. I can't do that. Carson Shack might be the only one, but Cohen's Duval is kind of growing on me. It gives me villain vibes. I like it. Duval, I like it too. Isaiah Jones, once we get Saxonville back, there's no doubt in my mind that we'll be contending for championships again and possibly a Super Bowl appearance. Railman CT says, Godwin, free agent, pickup, bye-bye Gabe. I was glad I'm able to discern that. Also, what's up with Pat McAfee and his crew legit trashing Cohen for like 10 minutes just because of his Duval? I like Pat McAfee. I've liked him for a long time. I liked him before he was even on ESPN. He's kind of getting Pat himself is kind of toting the company line, which I don't hate. They're paying him millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying I don't enjoy his show as much as I used to. Although I will say his like counterparts, AJ Hawk, the Toxic Tables, all those guys, they are still themselves, which I appreciate. But Pat's kind of gone a little mainstream. But again, I'm not hating because he's getting paid a lot of money to do it. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not a sellout. But if you were to give me that much money to sell out, I probably would. And if you wouldn't, and you could truthfully say you wouldn't, because Pat McAfee's probably making $50 million a year. If you wouldn't sell out for that, then you have a lot more virtues than I do. And I shout out to you. Yeah. No shot they cut Kirk. It's Trevor's best friend. If Cohen's all about his people, he doesn't cut Kirk. What do you think about John Gruden as OC? I don't think John Gruden's leaving Barstool. I think he's having a lot of fun. Just watching him on Barstool, I think he is in his wheelhouse and in his realm. T. Higgins, there's chemistry right there with Trev if we lose Kirk. I think that would be a good swap. Obviously, if we had cut Kirk and signed T. Higgins, I think that would be best case scenario. If the Bengals are smart, they'll bring him back. I don't know if they can cap-wise. I know Zach Taylor likes him, so I'm sure they'll find a way to bring him back. Does Dewey or Thomas get cut? I would say Daniel Thomas is probably the more likely of those two, but maybe they both do. We haven't seen Luke in a while. Hopefully he hit the gym and got swollen that time. That being said, Logan Jones from Iowa is slated to be a day 3 pick, and he was on Bruce Feldman's top 100 freaks list. Should we reach for a potential game record when you're picking in the top 5, not so much a filler? I agree. I mean, I'm always a fan of taking best available player, even at that D-line position. The only problem is Abdul Carter. I don't know if he'll be there. He probably won't be, but he's the best player available. And do you take a DN when you have 2 DNs? That's what makes it tough. So then do you move on to the second best available player because you have a need? You don't have a need at the best available player. Well, then at that point, where does the slippery slope stop? At that point, you just take a corner or a receiver. Cash shoots, we could reconstruct Kirk and contract and get rid of Davis to get T. Higgins. That would be wild with BTJ. Yeah, that would be. That was Chazon, Teal Corner Pod, Sack Guru. Some love. Show him some love. All right, let's move on to some other coaches here. Who else we got? Anthony Capanelli, linebackers coach and running game coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. Everybody in Green Bay loves Jeff Hafley, even though their defense wasn't great. Hafley interviewed for the Jets head coaching job. Obviously, Aaron Glenn got it. Green Bay was 7th in run defense. So he was stout against the run for a linebackers coach and running game coordinator. And if he was the running game coordinator, you could probably give him a lot more credit for that than a lot of people are. This is the Packers run defense against the Saints. Here you're going to see, again, an odd man front, 1, 2, 3 with 2 outside linebackers here. Kind of would be looking like what we did 2 years ago with Caldwell. Linebackers blow up the gap. I love that. Safety comes downhill. They're in a cover 1. So he's going to blow up the block. He's going to come in and fill and make the tackle. This is textbook football. So there's that. Here's against the Seahawks. They're in the double mug. 2 linebackers walked up in the A gaps. You always got to be worried about what's going to happen. I believe 1 drops and 1 blitzes. I can't remember which one's which. But again, you see your odd man front here. Yeah, so the double mug works here. And again, he's the linebackers coach. That's why I clipped these, because he's the linebackers coach. So you're going to see a blitz here from the weak side, dropping linebacker here. Gets pressure on Gino and gets the sack. A little bit about Capanelli. I think I already said anything about Capanelli. Let's move on to Jonathan Cooley. You guys want to talk about Jonathan Cooley? Jonathan Cooley is he got interviewed as well. Again, has the Rams connection. He was on that Super Bowl staff with Cohen. He wasn't great last year. He's in his 2nd year with the Panthers. 2 years ago, they were a lot better. He's the secondary cornerbacks coach. But before those 2 years, he spent 3 seasons with the Rams. 2 years ago in 2023, the Panthers defense was actually pretty good against the pass. They only gave up 171 pass yards per game, which was the lowest in a season in franchise history and 3rd lowest in the league. Opposing quarterbacks completed 64.2% of their passes and the 4th fewest passing touchdowns. So again, I think Jonathan Cooley is one of those guys that maybe you bring in to be an assistant head coach with the thoughts of maybe if you start losing your coordinators, then you could just promote them. Here you're going to see a really good corner in J.C. Horn make a great play against the Giants. I mean, J.C. Horn's really good. I mean, he is the DB's coach, so I mean, great coverage though. I mean, man coverage with outside leverage, chasing a drag across the middle of the field. It's one of the hardest things to do as a defensive back. Not a great throw, but you get the point. Here's against the Giants again. This is the only game I watched. I'm not going to lie. Look at this little split back orbit motion. Now we're talking day ball. Great job stopping the run. Odd man front. So again, defense from 2 years ago. A lot of window dressing, no yards. So there's Cooley. Wasn't going to deep dive into Jonathan Cooley because I doubt he'll get the job. Watch him get hired and then I eat crow there. Duval Dive is here. Oh, what's up, Travis? I'm going to be seeing Travis very, very soon. I'm going to be seeing Travis very, very soon. I had Graham as my number 1 option with Aubrey Pleasant 3rd, behind Duron Jones. Well, thank you for the logic problem there, Travis, where we had to figure out your order by giving it to us in non-sequential order. I appreciate that. You're making my brain think. You had 1, you had 3, and then behind, I feel like I'm taking the LSAT right now. Mainly due to his time in Detroit where Glenn let him go. Too bad that Duval turned into a meme for social. Duval. I think he probably should have practiced his Duval since it was certain someone was going to ask him to do it. That was the Chiefs and Patriots teams that made fun of by national media. And remember how much everyone made fun of Dan Campbell for the biting kneecaps comment? I think Dan Campbell turned out A-okay. It's our turn, says Reth Kim. A lot of laughing. No Saxonville. This is New All. We will probably never have Saxonville back. I'll cut Sheriff, Kirk, Morrison, Darby. Me too, Topa. Me too. Saxonville 2.0. Matter of fact, is it possible to cut the entire free agency additions from last season? I'm trying to think if there's any redeeming one. I mean, Morse was serviceable. Yeah, that's all I got. They took the context out of the way he said Duval and why he was saying it. BT, remember when you get on ESPN, we will be happy, but then we'll start to kind of like dislike you. That's okay, BT. That's okay. Yeah, one day I'll get to ESPN for sure. Especially if I keep going full time. I'm a full timer now. What do you think about Chip Kelly's? I got this question a couple times. I don't think there's any realistic shot that Chip Kelly comes here because he's going to want to call plays. I think Chip Kelly's trying to get his way back. The rumors are true of him trying to leave Ohio State. I think the reason would be so he could get a head coaching job again. I don't think he's going to go to a team where he doesn't call offensive plays on his way to being a head coach. I think if he stays at Ohio State another year, or he might have an option at another team where he is the play caller. And I think he's much more likely to do that than come to a team where he's not even the play caller. So would love it, but don't see it happening realistically. Green is not a serious person. Okay. Cohen's first Duval was more like Duval, like he wasn't sure. Gruden. Thank you. That makes more sense. McMillan is a younger, better, cheaper T. Higgins. Abdul is projected to the Browns. I think Cleveland will stay with Watson. Trade Kirk and Gabe and hop back into the first round. Hunter looks like shit in the bowl practice. He's a good player. Fun fact, Capanelli coached at the same high school Jason Patrick from the Lost Boys and Chris Sims went to. Don't know who Jason Patrick is, but I know who Chris Sims is. You have to balance best player available with how much you can realistically get with them on the field. Unless you move Walker or Josh Hines-Allen, how much do you rotate 3 edge rushers with all top 10 of the draft in pedigree? Yeah, you're right. You're right. I feel the Patriots are going to go there, McMillan or Hunter. Edgerrin Cooper is a beast. Quay Walker is good. Packers have a good linebacker group. That's a good point. DT or wide receiver for me, or old tight end or old safety. The old tight end. Yeah. Mason Graham if we go DT. I see Devin Lloyd blitzing on that double mug. I hope Devin Lloyd gets back to who he was at one point in life. If we get Patrick, Trayvon could be moved to big end on his 3-4 defense. Grabbing Abdul Carter would be a good choice. I also all for Graham or Johnson from Michigan. Can left tackle Campbell from LSU play right guard? I think he can. You see it happen in the NFL a lot more now than you used to with these offensive linemen moving positions. So I don't think it's unrealistic to think that he could. But I don't really know. Punchlines within $2. Thank you, Punchline. Appreciate that. Always appreciate super chats around here. When does Club Jaguar come back? I don't know. I mean, I'm maybe tomorrow. UCF Jaguar is having some problems with this channel. So that was why we didn't do it. Maybe tomorrow. Appreciate the $2 though. Appreciate that. I would slide Walker to left guard or right guard. Moving a guy after he just put up back-to-back double-digit sacks, 60-ish tackles. Max Crosby's social media stuff makes you feel like Graham is him. He had a good Duval before the presser. Look up Florida Water, Duval. I know that song, Zach. I know that song. Can you see Max Crosby in the Prowler hat? Did you see Max Crosby? I did not. I gotta look that up. Hunter or Graham or Genty, who you taking if they're available at 5? Probably Graham. Oh, I would take Hunter. I think I'd take Hunter. I think he's going to be a game changer in the NFL. I think Graham will too. I'm always weary of running backs, not because I don't think Genty will be good. I think you could probably find a 5th round guy who could put up similar numbers, and there's more value there. But I get it. I mean, watching Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry do what they did this year, it's hard not to fall back in love with running backs. But I still, if I'm going for a game franchise changer, it'd be Hunter or Graham. I'd be fine with either one, to be honest. We need D tackle or O-line. Saxonville made us into a championship caliber team, even with Bortles as Keelan and maybe Lee as wide receiver 1. However, Fournette was pretty good as a rookie. I did not see him in a Prowler hat. I will look it up, though. I wouldn't take a running back at our position when we can get the best player available for a needy position. Carberry, O-line coach from Tampa for OC just to fix this O-line. Crosby wore the Prowler hat because he was doing a game where he had to guess the team on the hat. He was wearing it. That's it. Way to ruin it, punchline. Any truth to Chip Kelly? I don't know. All right, the last guy we haven't talked about, Duron Jones, Minnesota Vikings defensive backs coach. Brian Flores, under Brian Flores. A lot of guys wanted Brian Flores as a head coach. He was the D coordinator for LSU in 2020, and wasn't retained after that year. What do we have on Duron Jones here? Oh, 3 plays. Jeez, look at us. All right, this is against the Packers. Again, you see the odd man front here with the 2 down linemen, the 9 technique outside linebacker. He looks like kind of a linebacker here. Like that blitz from the linebacker or safety, whatever he is, hybrid player. Not great blocking, but tough on the guard to do that. Nice blitz. Again, stopping the run. We got to stop the run this year, boy. We got to stop everything. Our defense was so bad. Same game, Packers. 2 linebackers. I mean, this is a blitz. This is an all-out blitz. He drops his pick. I remember watching this game live, but they're going to send the house here, which I love. Gets pressure on Love, makes him throw it. Could have been picked. And against the Colts. Getting the gaps, stuff it up. Nice try, JT. Nice try. They don't even blitz. This is just good assignment football. So there's Duron Jones. And I know we're not going to learn a lot from those clips. But again, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do here at with defense coordinator. Hopefully it's Patrick Graham. Hopefully. It's eye-catching that the priority for Cohen was D coordinator, then O-line coach before OC or GM. It's interesting, but love his importance ranking. D-line coach is probably higher on his list than GM or O coordinator to be offense, or to be honest. Hunter has struggled badly at practices today. Looked as bad as Shaq. I figured you've listened to it, but I think Liam was singing Duval. That's what you meant. I'm with you now. Jason, if Cohen asked you what it's like to be a Jaguars fan and what we need for him to do for us, what would you tell him? I would say it sucked lately. I would say take a second and imagine what it's like to be a diehard of someone that can something that continually disappoints you. Imagine the feeling, the angst. Every morning you wake up and you're like, why do I love this team that doesn't love me back? I think if he wraps his mind around that, he'll understand that we're not looking for monumental growth next year. We're looking for direction. We're looking for honesty. We're looking for someone that can come and look us in the eye and say, I'm calling the plays. This is where our team needs to improve. This is where our team is strong. This is our plan for the future. And I think if he's just honest with the fans, like he was in the press conference, if he leans on the guidance of people like Tony Baselli or brings in a guy that knows how to build a team, and most importantly, establishes a culture here. Doesn't even have to be a winning culture right away. Just some sort of culture. That's not a stinky, dirty, losing culture. I think that would go a long way with Jags fans. And I would think him being honest I would tell him being honest in the press conference and being a great speaker and doing what he did is a great start. So let's build off it. That's what I would say, John Tom. That's what I would say. Get Graham and we'll have the mall firm of Mason and Mason. The law firm. I know what you meant. Oh, the mall. Maybe you meant mall firm. Myles Garrett, the dual Carter could be the best DN combo in the league. Punchlines. I was talking about the one where he was holding Trevor. Mason and Mason. Gary K, I like it. AO, 97 of us here. Give the host some love and a like button. Well, 97 on YouTube, and then there's another 100 or so on. No, there's actually 378 on Twitter. 378 on Twitter. 103 on YouTube. I didn't know I could look at it until just now. It's the first time I've ever done that. Look at this. I'm a full timer now. I'm learning. Preston Timms. If Hunter is there at 5, you probably have to draft him, but I really don't want this draft to end without Graham. Looks like Warren Sapp to me. If Hunter is a 5, pull a Texans trade back up for Graham. I like that, Preston. I like that line of thinking. 64 and 148 since Khan. What do you think? This is why I've kind of said that I believe that Khan is going to become more of a meddling owner, because all indications point to he's been someone who has admittedly turned the franchise over to other people to make decisions. And I think whoever the commenter was that pointed it out, that GM is not on the top of their priority list, means they're going to lean on Ethan Wall and Tony Baselli and Tony Khan. And they're like, you know what? We're tired of a losing team. If we're going to lose, we're going to lose, if you know what I mean. I kind of get those vibes. So let's see how this team goes. And I firmly believe that Khan's going to be more of a meddling owner. So let's see. Robert Harrington, channel member, identity. They need identity more than anything. Well said. Absolutely, perfectly well said. Well said. I love that. All right, well, I'm a full-timer now, so, you know, it is what it is. So be looking out for the next shows. Zach Travis says we should draft Deion Walker in round 2 or 3 and worry about O-line or wide receiver at 5. I mean, they got a lot to worry about. So luckily, we have a lot of shows coming up where we can talk about these things. And God knows at this rate, I'm going to be on here every freaking night talking to you guys. So I appreciate you guys being here on back-to-back nights. I mean, I think we've done 5 shows in the last 8 days. Full timer. I appreciate you guys for being here. We'll come back on soon. Maybe Club Jaguar tomorrow on UCF Jaguars channel. If not, somewhere else. Make sure to hit the notification bell so that you get a little notification whenever we go live, so that you're not late if you have something else, don't have something else to do. I appreciate you guys spending your night with me. I always want to say it means a lot to me that you guys would spend your time with me talking Jags. This is one of my favorite things to do. And I just love that you guys are here and that you guys are a part of it as well. The views have been astronomical the last week or so. So I shout out to you guys. I really appreciate that. As soon as we hire defense coordinator, we will be having our defensive coordinator film breakdown where we're going to break down the nuts and bolts of the D coordinator. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So waiting for that news to drop. But until then, I will see you guys very, very soon. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. I've been very active lately. So follow me on Twitter. We can communicate. I've been getting some DMs, talking with some people. So it's been kind of fun. So again, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. I will see you guys next time. But until then, as always, go Jags.